dearly because he resisted Hitler, he resisted the Nazis. He was banned from preaching and teaching for a season, and he decided he was just going to keep on with his ministry. And so he headed an illegal seminary that was preparing pastors among a group of churches that were standing against Hitler for their anti-Semitic policies. In 1939, Bonhoeffer decided he would join a group of people, a hidden group. These were high-ranking military officers who were opposing Hitler and were planning to kill him, to assassinate him, to overthrow him, and to tear down the Nazi regime. By 1943, Bonhoeffer himself was arrested after money that was used to free some Jews to help them escape. Some of that money was traced back to him. He was charged with conspiracy and sent to prison for about a year and a half. Meanwhile, in 1944, those people that he was working with, they tried another assassination attempt. It was a failed attempt. And as they were trying to figure out who was working behind the scenes in that failed attempt, some connections were made between these would-be assassins and Bonhoeffer himself. And there were over 200 people that got caught up in that investigation, and they were executed. And Bonhoeffer was one of them. An interesting fact about his execution, he was hung on gallows just 3 weeks before the city in which he was being held in captivity was set free. But I want you to think about Bonhoeffer for just a moment. Bonhoeffer was just one pastor among hundreds, if not thousands, of pastors in Germany. And I'm sure that there were many of his fellow pastors that felt compelled to stand up for what was good, for what was right, and to stand against Hitler, but there were very few, like Bonhoeffer, who actually stood up because they feared what would come their way. Bonhoeffer, among the many, was one of the few that stood up with courage. Now, that's the kind of courage that Esther has when you see her here in chapter 1, or chapter 5, verse 1. In fact, I want you to notice this response, this courageous response, was met by action on the Lord's part, where he responds by allowing her to have favor with the king. She stands in the court, not knowing what's going to happen to her, but then verse 2 it says, when the king saw Queen Esther standing in the court, she won favor in his sight. Do you think that was his idea? That was the Lord working on her behalf. He held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. Then Esther approached and touched the tip of the scepter. You see, if we desire to be faithful to the Lord in our responses, we must respond faithfully with courage. That's Esther's testimony. To be courageous, but there's something else here in her story that I think encourages us, and that is that we ought to be patient when God places a challenge in front of us.